Hi, everyone. Sean here from RESO and the Trusted Agent podcast. And I'm so excited to have with us a guest today, Emily Morgan. Emily, how are you today?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for having me.
What we wanted to do was reach out to those people that we're partnered with, but also get their insights as to what's happening out there in the industry and the market and share them with our broader audience. So I'm really stoked to have you on board. At the time of recording here, we're halfway through May. And there's a lot going on. And that's what I was hoping that we can unpack today. So how do you feel the current market conditions and performance are happening nationally and maybe state view in your corner of the woods as well?
Look, it's an interesting market at the moment, Sean, to be honest. We saw what I would say a fantastic or flying market, if you will, for the last couple of years. And it's been relatively easy to list and sell in that particular market. We now know that firstly, we've got the elections happening next week. And if you have been in real estate for quite some time, you'll already know that just before elections, everything in the market kind of stops. There's a bit of a pause. People are waiting to see what the government's going to do, what policies are going to come out, what they're going to put in place, and how that's going to affect their lives, their repayments, that type of thing. Of course, you've got the interest rate rises, and I think it's very interesting that the Reserve Bank and the major banks have actually raised their interest rates during the election process. We don't usually see that, and they have been pretty upfront about the fact that there's going to be more interest rate rises to come. What that has meant for the market, however, is over sort of that Christmas, New Year period, if you really wanted to get on the market and sell and get, that silly price, if you will, that was the time to do it. You are now seeing at the moment, and whether that's the elections and it's be interesting to see if that comes back, you are seeing sort of, I guess, scarcity of buyers in comparison to what you were seeing last year. And the market has corrected itself, if you will. So you don't have those silly 200,000, 400,000 over and above reserve anymore. Prices are selling for a fair price in the market now. So you've got a lot happening.
You certainly do. And I think let's start with buyer sentiment because and how they're feeling. As you've clearly outlined, with the threat of interest rates is on the rise with more to come with the election. That seizing of buyers is because there's just too many variables or complexities that they're just like, I actually don't know what to do. They're almost feared and panic, or do you think there's something else behind it?
There's a little bit of worry, to be honest. There's a little bit of that fear, to be fair. But I think that they possibly are also realizing that the ball's a little more in their court than what it has been.
It's interesting, isn't it? The market's coming down, but interest rates going up. So you might have some selection of buyers that are going, oh, we're going to wait for the market to cool off a bit. We're hearing it's going to drop in the next 12 to 18 months. At the same time, interest rates are going up. So it's
one would think you would want to secure that mortgage and fix it as soon as humanly possible before the next 4 interest rate rises. I would think so. That is absolutely what I am talking about in the market at the moment, and do you really want to deal with 100 buyers where only 10 of them are really, really interested? I've always only wanted to deal with the 10. Yeah, and what you will see, I think, and it's going to be a little bit unfortunate, is that some people just won't be in a position to be able to keep their current mortgage. There'll be a lot of people trying to sort of refinance, but you will see those that will have to sell, and in that current market too.
And that could create some good buying opportunities for buyers as well.
Absolutely. But buyers are going to expect really fantastic communication, as they always should, but that doesn't usually happen, and we all know that. And the vendor communication is going to be absolutely critical from an agent perspective moving forward. So those who haven't sort of religiously been fantastic at that are either going to get fantastic, or you may see a little exodus from the industry.
I agree. I want when the pressure's on, as you said, it's been easy over the last couple of years, and I say that with all due respect to all agents out there,
Yep.
easier to sell when the market's been as booming as it is. It's interesting, just with the upcoming elections, political views aside, but there's property markets or property deals and advantages for buyers is certainly front of mind in both campaigns as well. Do you have any thoughts on either party getting through, or how that's impacting some buyers and even vendors' decisions at the moment?
Well, look, I think that there's a lot of people waiting to see who
Mhm.
is who's going to get in, and what those policies are going to mean for them. What I think is going to happen in the market is, look, we're in Melbourne, right? They
Mhm.
can't build the houses fast enough for the people coming in usually. So you usually have a scarcity of housing, and you still have that. And so the chances of the market plummeting into darkness is, in my opinion, not really going to happen. I've been selling in the Melbourne market for in excess of 10 years now, and I can safely tell you that at no point from the time that I got here until now was there a time not to buy, because it hasn't come back. And I always catch myself saying this as an agent: you'll never buy this property again for the same
At this
price
price.
that you're going to pay for it today.
You mentioned that communication is going to be really important moving forward. You have the interest rates, you have the elections, people are waiting, but
Yep.
agents really need to be at the hub of all of that, and experts on all things
Yes.
to help guide both buyers and vendors through the process. What are some communication tips that you can offer real estate agents watching today?
I get asked so many of these questions, and often my answer is just get RESO.
Thank you.
because it helps for so many different reasons. The communication with the buyers, the communication with the sellers, the vendor seller link. It's just it's fantastic. Somebody asked me the other day, what do you use to do your vendor reports? I mean, again, my answer was the same: RESO.
Present.
And there was actually recently an example where the market was in that downturn, and the owner wanted a lot more than what the market was telling them they were going to get, but they weren't seeing it. They were being told, but they weren't seeing it. Okay, so I actually convinced that agent to put that sale through RESO, get those buyers to put their offer in through RESO, run it through the actual ranking and so on and so forth. That helped also to educate her seller along the way in a really quick way at the same time. And she ended up getting a deal together, and everybody was happy. Did the owner get a way up their price that they wanted? No, they got fair market value, and they got to move on with their lives. And that was the difference between not being able to move on.
And for those that are watching that haven't heard of RESO, which I'm from, RESO is an offer and acceptance management platform that's making it so much easier for agents, saving them time and getting those great outcomes, and driving the best prices available for vendors, as well as giving fair and equal opportunity for the buyers. Emily, you've been a fantastic advocate for us in selling the benefits of RESO, and we really do appreciate that. Is there anything else that you could offer agents in going into this, I think, very tricky 6 to 8 months that they should keep front of mind?
Compliance.
Yeah. Yes.
Because nobody's perfect, but you're going to have to get very, very close to, because people are going to be trapped into certain spaces where they're going to need that extra $20,000 that should be that agent's commission. And if there is a way out of paying that through the fault of the agent, through paperwork or something that's happened along the way, then I think we're going to unfortunately see a lot more of that moving on down the track, because people are going to need more in their back pockets.
It'd be amiss of me not to show in this opportunity with RESO. Everything is timestamped.
That's
So
why
for those,
I use it.
yeah, with those,
Everything's time-stamped. Done.
if
Dusted.
anything,
It's all
regulation,
there.
compliance, we have you covered as well. Emily, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights into what you see is happening in the market and the tricky situation that we see ourselves in today. If anybody wanted to learn more from you or have a conversation with you, I know that you're extremely knowledgeable and influential within the industry. How can they get in touch with you?
Oh, just give me a call. I'm not hard to find. My mobile was 0406 114 494, and I welcome any conversation, particularly if it's around any of the things discussed and anything to do with real estate.
Excellent. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much, everyone else, for watching, and we'll see you next time. All the
Thanks,
best.
Sean.
Bye.